Listen slowly. Speak naturally. Let me start with a question. Have you ever felt this? You listen to English. You understand most of it. But when you try to speak, your mouth feels slow. Your thoughts are fast. Your understanding is strong. But your speaking doesn't come out naturally. If that sounds like you, this video is exactly where you need to be. Because today we are not talking about grammar. We are not talking about vocabulary lists. We are not talking about speaking faster. Today we are talking about something much more important, listening slowly so you can speak naturally. The biggest mistake English learners make most English learners believe this. If I listen to fast English, I will speak fast. So they push themselves to watch fast videos, listen to native speed conversations, follow advanced podcasts, and instead of improving, they feel more pressure. Their brain gets tired. Their confidence drops, and speaking feels even harder. This is not because you're bad at English, it's because your brain is overloaded. Why English feels natural in your head but not in your mouth. Here's what's really happening. When you listen, your brain is relaxed, right? And there is no pressure to respond. You can understand quietly, but when you speak, your brain must react, your mouth must move. Fear appears. That fear comes from speed. Fast English gives your brain no time. Slow English gives your brain permission, and permission is where natural speaking begins. Natural English does not come from speed. Let me say something very important. Natural English does not mean fast English. Natural English means relaxed, clear, comfortable. Many fluent speakers speak slowly. They pause. They think. They choose simple words. That's what makes them sound natural, not speed. Why slow listening changes everything. When you listen slowly, your brain stays calm, your mouth feels less pressure. You stop translating word by word. Slow listening creates a bridge between understanding, speaking. Without that bridge, learners stay silent for years. You don't have a speaking problem. You have a listening speed problem. This might surprise you. Most learners don't struggle with speaking because they can't speak. They struggle because they listen too fast. Fast listening trains your brain to panic. Slow listening trains your brain to respond. That's the difference. What this series is about, this series is designed for people who understand English, listen well, think clearly, but struggle to speak naturally. We slow everything down on purpose, not because you're weak, but because slow is how fluency is built. This is a safe space to practice. In this series, no one will rush you, no one will judge you, no one expects perfection. You can be, pause, repeat, listen again. This is English practice without pressure. Why speaking naturally starts with listening. Naturally, think about your native language. You didn't learn it by studying grammar, you learned it by listening. Slowly, repeatedly, naturally. Your brain needs the same process in English. Slow listening builds rhythm, builds confidence, builds automatic response. Automatic response is what we call natural speaking. Stop trying to sound smart. Many learners try to sound advanced. They choose big words, long sentences, complex grammar, and their speaking becomes heavy. Natural English is light, simple words, short sentences, clear meaning. That's what we are building here. What you should feel while practicing. While listening and speaking slowly, you should feel calm, slightly focused, comfortable. If you feel stressed, you're going too fast. Slow is not a weakness, slow is control, a simple truth. Most learners never hear. Here it is. You don't need to push English out. You need to let English come out. Slow listening lets English come out naturally. One sentence. You must remember, say the sentence out loud. I don't need to rush English to speak naturally. Say it again, because rushing creates fear, and fear blocks fluency. What will happen if you stay with this series? If you stay with this practice, your reactions will feel easier, your mouth will move more naturally, your confidence will grow quietly, not overnight, but steadily. And steady progress is real progress. This is not a motivation video. Only yes, this video is motivational, but it's also practical. In the next segments, we will listen slowly, pause intentionally, speak gently, repeat safely. This is how speaking confidence is built. A gentle reminder before we continue. You don't need to be perfect here. You don't need to impress anyone. You only need to show up slowly, calmly, consistently. What comes next? In segment 2, we will begin slow listening activation. You will listen to very slow English. Give your brain time. Prepare your mouth to respond. This is where many learners feel their first real relief. They finally say, "Oh, I can speak like this." If English has ever felt too fast for you, this series is for you. Take a breath, relax your shoulders. Segment 2. Why slow? Listening is the missing link to natural speaking. If you're still here, that already means something important. You didn't skip ahead, you didn't give up, you stayed. And that tells me one thing. You're serious about finally speaking English naturally. In segment 1, you learned a powerful truth. Speaking naturally does not come from speed. It comes from calm listening. Now in segment 2, we are going deeper, because to change how you speak, you first need to understand how your brain reacts to English, the real reason. English feels unnatural when you speak, let's be honest. When you listen to English slowly, you feel okay. When English becomes fast, something changes. Your chest feels tight. Your mind starts racing. You stop enjoying the language. That reaction is not weakness. That reaction is your brain saying, "This is too fast. I need more time." And most learners ignore that signal. They push harder. That's where things go wrong. Your brain is not designed for speed. First, think about how the human brain learns language. First comes sound, rhythm, pause. Only later comes fast response, natural flow. When you jump straight to fast English, you skip the foundation. And when the foundation is missing, speaking never feels natural. Slow listening rebuilds that foundation. Why slow listening calms your speaking? Fear does not come from English itself. Fear comes from not having enough time. When English is slow, like your brain has time to process, your mouth has time to prepare, your confidence stays intact. When English is fast, your brain panics, your mouth freezes, silence returns. So the goal is not to fight fear, the goal is to remove the cause of fear, and the cause is speed. Natural speaking is a result, not a goal. Many learners say, I want to speak naturally, but they try to force it. Natural speaking cannot be forced. It is a result of repeated calm listening. Think of it like walking. You didn't learn to walk by running. You learned by moving slowly, step by step. Language works the same way. Why repetition in slow listening is powerful. Some learners worry, isn't repeating slow English boring? No, repetition is what creates automatic response. When you hear the same patterns again and again, your brain stops analyzing, your mouth starts reacting, speaking becomes easier. This is how natural is born, not from intelligence, from familiarity. The difference between hearing and listening. Let's clarify something important. Hearing is passive, listening is active. Slow listening turns hearing into listening. You notice how words connect, where pauses happen, how sentences breathe. These small details teach your brain how to speak. Why you translate. Less when you listen. Slowly. When English is fast, your brain does this. English, native language, meaning that takes time. When English is slow, your brain does this. English, meaning no translation. That is why slow listening helps you think in English naturally. Stop punishing yourself for needing slow English. Many adult learners feel ashamed. They think, I should understand fast English by now. That shame blocks progress. There is no should in language learning. There is only what works, and slow listening works. Professional interpreters, actors, and speakers all train with slow input first. You are not behind. You are training correctly. What slow listening practice really trains slow listening trains patience, rhythm, confidence, response timing. These are the real skills of speaking. Grammar comes later, a simple slow listening exercise. Mental. You don't need audio right now. Just imagine this. Someone says slowly, you today? You feel calm, you understand, you can respond. Now imagine it fast. Your body feels different. That difference is everything. Why? Natural English feels easy. Natural English feels easy because it flows. At a comfortable speed, pauses exist. Speakers don't rush. Fast English looks impressive. Natural English feels usable. You're learning usable English. The lie about native speed. Many learners chase native speed. But even native speakers slow down when they want to be clear. Natural English is not about speed. It's about connection. Connection requires time. What you should focus on. From now on, from today, your focus is not fast understanding, advanced vocabulary, complex grammar. Your focus is calm listening, slow repetition, gentle speaking. This combination creates natural fluency. One important rule for this series. Here is a rule you must follow. If English feels stressful, slow it down. Stress is a signal. Listen to it. What progress feels like at this stage. Progress now feels like less panic, more clarity, more willingness to speak. You may still feel slow. That's okay. Slow is temporary. Confidence is permanent. A sentence you should say today. Say this sentence out loud. Slow listening makes my speaking natural. Say it again, because this belief will guide your practice. What comes next? In segment 3, we will move from listening to gentle speaking activation. You will listen to slow English, pause intentionally, respond softly. This is where many learners finally say, my English sounds more like me. If English has ever felt rushed, you're not alone. You don't need to catch up, you need to slow down. Take a breath, relax your jaw. Segment 3, from slow. Listening to gentle speaking activation. If you stayed until this point, something important has already shifted. You no longer feel that English is attacking you. You no longer feel that pressure to be fast. You are beginning to feel space. That space is what allows speaking to happen. In segment 1, you learn that speed is not the goal. In segment 2, you learned why slow listening calms your brain. Now in segment 3, we take the next step. This is the step where listening starts turning into speaking, but gently, safely, without force. Why jumping directly to speaking fails? Most English learners do this. They listen. Then they try to speak immediately, and when words don't come out naturally, they panic. That panic is not because you can't speak. It's because your brain did not get time to prepare your mouth. Speaking is not a switch, it's a process. And this segment is about that process. Speaking naturally starts with preparation, not pressure. Before your mouth speaks naturally, 3 things must happen. Your brain must feel calm, your ear must recognize patterns, your mouth must feel permission to move. Slow listening handles the first 2. Now we gently activate the third. What gentle speaking activation means? Gentle speaking activation does not mean long sentences, fast replies, perfect pronunciation. It means small responses, soft repetition, slow voice movement. Think of it like stretching before exercise. You don't run first, you prepare. The rule of segment 3. Here is today's most important rule. You speak only after listening. And you speak slowly. No rushing, no forcing. Listening leads, speaking follows. Why this method feels different. Many learners say, this feels easier. This feels calmer. That's because this method respects how the brain works. When you listen slowly first, your brain predicts the sound, your mouth feels ready, fear stays low. Speaking becomes a natural response, not a performance. What to say in segment 3? Very simple. Today your speaking is short and real. You will use sentences like, I understand. I hear you. That makes sense. I can try. I feel okay. These are not beginner sentences. These are real conversation responses. Why short responses are powerful. Short responses reduce fear, sound natural, keep conversations alive. Native speakers use short responses all the time. Speaking naturally does not mean speaking a lot. It means speaking at the right moment, a gentle practice. Example. Imagine someone says slowly, "Today we will practice English." You respond slowly, "Okay." Pause. Now imagine. This practice is slow and calm. You respond, "Yes, that's speaking. Simple, natural, real." Why you must stop judging your voice. Many learners hate their own English voice. They think, "I sound strange. My accent is bad." That judgment blocks progress. Your voice needs use, not judgment. The more you speak slowly, the more natural it becomes. Slow speaking builds muscle memory. Your mouth is learning new movements. That takes repetition. When you speak slowly, your mouth learns the rhythm, sounds become easier, confidence grows quietly. This is not instant, but it is reliable. The mistake to avoid. Today, do not do this. Speaking fast to sound fluent is copying native speed, pushing yourself when you feel tense. Tension kills natural speaking. Relaxation creates it. A 5-minute gentle speaking routine. Here is a routine you can do every day. Listen to one slow sentence. Pause for 2 to 3 seconds. Repeat the sentence. Softly pause again. That's it. No pressure, no correction. Your goal is comfort, not perfection. Why pauses are your friend. Many learners fear pauses, but pauses give you control, make you sound thoughtful, reduce panic. Natural English includes pauses. Fast English without pauses sounds nervous. What progress feels like in segment 3. Progress here feels subtle. You may notice your mouth moves more easily, your fear reduces, your responses feel lighter. These are strong signs of growth, even if you don't feel fluent yet. A sentence you should say today. Say this sentence out loud. I speak after I listen. Say it again because this habit will guide your practice. Why many learners skip this stage and stay stuck? Many learners want results quickly, so they skip gentle activation. They jump to conversations. They freeze. They feel discouraged. You are not skipping. You are building correctly. That's why this works. You are training natural reaction, not memory. This method is not about memorizing sentences. It's about training reaction timing. Reaction timing is what makes English sound natural. And reaction timing comes from slow input and gentle output. One important mindset shift. Say this to yourself. I don't need to sound fluent. I need to feel calm. Calm speaking becomes fluent speaking. Always. What comes next? In segment 4, we'll begin connecting responses, not long speeches, just slightly longer reactions. This is where many learners feel their first real flow. They stop answering with one word and start feeling comfortable continuing. If English has ever felt heavy when you speak, this segment is for you. You are not slow. You are not behind. You are learning the natural way. Take a breath. Relax your jaw. Segment 4. Connecting your responses from single words to natural flow. If you've reached this point, something important is happening. Your fear is not controlling you the way it used to. Your body feels a little more relaxed when English starts. Your mouth is no longer completely frozen. That is not imagination, that is progress. In segment 3, you learn how to move from slow listening to gentle speaking. You spoke short responses. You let your voice come out without pressure. Now, in segment 4, we take the next natural step. This is the step where English starts to flow, not fast, but smoothly. Why speaking still feels incomplete. Many learners at this stage say, I can answer, but I stop. You say, yes, okay, I understand. And then silence comes back. That silence is not fear anymore. That silence is simply because you don't yet know how to continue. Today, you will learn exactly that. The problem is not vocabulary or grammar. Let's clear something up. You don't stop speaking because you don't know words. Your grammar is weak. You stop because your brain thinks, I finished my answer. Fluent speakers don't think like that. They think in connections, not endings. And today, you learn to connect. The rule of segment 4. Here is today's most important rule. Never stop after your first response. Add one more small idea, not a long explanation, not a perfect sentence, just one more gentle line. That's it. Why flow is built in small steps. Flow does not come from long speaking. Flow comes from continuation. Even one extra sentence changes everything. Instead of yes, you say, yes, that makes sense. Instead of I understand. You say, I understand and I feel calm. That is flow. Simple, natural, real. The magic words that create. Flow, you do not need advanced connectors. You only need a few simple ones. Hadan spoke nayan, but because only so these words are small but powerful. They turn one idea into two, and two ideas into movement. What to say in segment 4? Exact practice. Practice speaking like this. I understand and I can try. I feel okay but a little nervous. That makes sense because you speak slowly. I'm listening so I feel relaxed. Notice something? You're not explaining deeply. You're just continuing gently. That is how natural speaking begins. Why this feels easier than you expect. This method feels easier because your brain is already calm. Your listening prepared you. Your mouth is already active. You're not starting from zero anymore. You're building on comfort. Stop trying to sound complete. Many learners feel pressure to give complete answers. But real conversations are not complete. They are unfinished, flexible, imperfect people. Don't speak in perfect paragraphs. They speak in connected thoughts. You are learning the same skill. A simple example from real life. Imagine someone says slowly, "This practice is slow." You respond, "Yes." Now add one more line, "Yes, and it helps me." That's it. You didn't sound advanced. You sounded natural. Why one extra sentence changes confidence? That extra sentence does something powerful. It tells your brain, I didn't stop. And every time you don't stop, your confidence grows quietly. Confidence does not come from sounding good, it comes from continuing. The mistake you must avoid. Here, do not do this. Plan long answers in your head, search for perfect grammar, translate full ideas. Planning kills flow. Simple continuation builds it. A safe 7-minute flow practice. Try this daily practice. Set a timer for 7 minutes. Listen to a slow sentence. Respond with a short, Answer. Add one more sentence using an but because the. So pause, repeat. Example. I understand. I understand and I feel comfortable. That's enough. Why repetition is still important. At this stage, repetition is your best friend. Repeating similar patterns builds rhythm, reduces thinking, increases speed naturally. You are not repeating because you are weak. You are repeating because you are training automatic flow. How to handle small pauses. You may pause between sentences. That's okay. Pauses are not mistakes. Pauses give you control, make you sound thoughtful, keep fear away. Natural speakers pause all the time. What progress feels like in segment 4. Progress now feels like you speak a little longer, you don't panic when you finish a sentence, your responses feel smoother. You may not notice it clearly yet, but your brain does. A sentence you must say today. Say this sentence slowly. I can continue speaking calmly. Say it again, because calm continuation is the key to natural English, why many learners never reach. This stage, many learners rush. They want fast conversations, advanced topics, native speed. They skip connection and they freeze again. You are not rushing, you are building correctly. You are learning how to stay in English. This is an important idea. Before, English felt like something you touched briefly. Now you are learning how to stay in English. Stay a little longer, stay a little calmer, stay a little more connected. That's fluency. One powerful reminder. You do not need to impress anyone. You only need to remain present. Presence creates natural speaking. What comes next? In segment 5, we will move into something very important. You will start expressing small opinions, simple preferences, gentle feelings. This is where English starts to sound like your voice, not a lesson. If you ever felt, I can answer, but I don't know how to continue, this segment was for you. You are not stuck, you are moving, slowly, naturally, correctly. Take a breath, relax your shoulders. Segment 5. Expressing simple opinions. So English becomes your voice. If you're here now, pause for a moment and notice something. English no longer feels completely foreign. It no longer feels like a test. It no longer feels like something you must survive. That change matters. In segment 4, you learn how to continue speaking instead of stopping. You learned how to connect one response to the next. You learned how to stay in English a little longer. Now we move into segment 5. This is where English stops sounding like practice and starts sounding like you. Because today we begin expressing simple opinions and feelings. Why opinions are the turning point in speaking. Many learners can repeat sentences. Many learners can answer basic questions, but they still say, I don't feel confident speaking. Why? Because confidence does not come from repeating words. Confidence comes from expression. When you express an opinion, you are no longer copying English. You are using English, and that changes how you feel instantly. Why expressing opinions feels scary. Let's be honest. Expressing opinions feels risky. When you share an opinion, You feel exposed. You worry about being wrong. You fear judgment. In your native language, this feels normal. In English, it feels dangerous. So many learners stay silent or only say neutral things. Today, we remove that fear gently. The rule of segment 5. Here's today's most important rule. Use simple opinion starters. Do not explain too much. You are not debating. You are not defending your ideas. You are simply saying what you think or feel. That's enough. The opinion starters that make speaking easy. These phrases are powerful because they give you time, reduce pressure, protect you from wrong answers. Practice these slowly. I think, I feel, for me, in my opinion, these phrases create a safe entry into speaking. What to say in segment 5. Exact practice. Speak slowly and gently. Use this structure. Opinion starter plus short idea. Examples. I think this practice is helpful. I feel more relaxed now. For me, slow listening is easier. In my opinion, speaking slowly feels natural. I think English is less scary now. These sentences are simple, but they are powerful because they are yours. Why simple opinions build real confidence. Simple opinions. Reduce overthinking, feel honest, sound natural. You're not trying to impress, you're trying to connect. That's what real speaking is. Stop trying to sound smart. Many learners block themselves here. They think, my opinion is too simple. I should say something better. That thinking kills confidence. Simple opinions are not weak, they are clear. And clear English always sounds confident. A real-life example. Imagine someone says slowly, "This practice is slow." You respond, "I think it helps me." That response is natural, confident, real. You didn't explain, you didn't panic, you spoke why feelings matter more than grammar. When you speak about feelings, English becomes emotional, your voice becomes natural, your motivation increases. Emotion removes fear. That's why speaking feels easier when it feels personal. What to do when you don't know the right word. This will happen. When it does, do not stop. Say one of these. I don't know the word, but how can I say this? I mean, then continue. These phrases are part of real English. They keep you moving. A safe 8-minute opinion practice. Try this daily practice. Set a timer for 8 minutes. Choose one topic. Learning English. Body this practice, how you feel today. Rules. Every sentence starts with I think, I feel. For me, speak slowly, no long explanations. If you repeat yourself, that's okay. Repetition builds comfort. Why? Repeating opinions is good. Repeating opinions strengthens speaking muscles, reduces fear, builds rhythm. You're not repeating because you lack ideas. You're repeating because you're building automatic speaking. The no apology rule, very important. From now on, remember this rule. Do not apologize for your English. Do not say, "Sorry for my English. My English is bad." These sentences train fear. Instead say, "I'm learning. Let me try." Language shapes mindset. What progress feels like in segment 5. Progress now feels like. Speaking feels personal. English feels less robotic. Fear feels smaller. You may still feel nervous. That's normal. Nervous speaking is still speaking. Why this segment changes everything. This is the point where many learners say, English finally sounds like my voice. Because now you are not repeating English. You're expressing yourself in English. That's real fluency. One sentence you must say today. Say this sentence slowly. My thoughts matter even in simple English. Say it again, because confidence starts with self-respect, a gentle reminder. You are not late. You are not behind. You are not slow. You are learning the right way. Slow, calm, natural. What comes next? In segment 6, we will focus on real conversation reactions. You will learn how to respond naturally, react without panic, keep conversations alive. This is where English starts to feel social, not lonely. If you ever felt, I can speak, but it doesn't feel like me. This segment was for you. Take a breath, relax your jaw. Segment 6, Reacting Naturally, How Real English Conversations Feel Easy. If you've reached this segment, you've already crossed a powerful line. English no longer feels like something you only study. It is starting to feel like something you can use. That shift is important. In the earlier segments, you learned how to listen slowly, speak gently, continue without freezing, express simple opinions. Now we move into segment 6. This is where English becomes interactive. Because real English is not about long speeches, real English is about reaction. Why conversations still feel scary for many learners. Many learners say, I can speak when I'm alone, but when someone talks to me, I freeze. That's not because you forgot English. It's because conversations feel unpredictable. When someone speaks to you, you don't know what's coming. You feel pressure to answer fast. You don't know. Your brain panics. This segment teaches you how to remove that panic. The biggest truth about real conversations. Here is a truth most textbooks never tell you. Most real conversations are made of short reactions. People don't speak in perfect paragraphs. They say, yeah, I see, maybe. That makes sense. I'm not sure, and that is completely natural. You don't need to say more to be fluent. You need to respond comfortably. The rule of segment 6. Here's today's most important rule. Short responses are enough. You do not need to explain everything. You do not need to be fast. You only need to show that you are present. Why short responses build confidence. Short responses reduce pressure, give you control, prevent silence. When you answer with 1 or 2 calm sentences, your brain feels safe. And when the brain feels safe, fluency grows. The reaction. Phrases you need. Very important. Practice these phrases slowly. Yes? No. Maybe. I think so. I'm not sure. That makes sense. I agree. I don't agree, but I understand. For me, it's different. These phrases are used every day in real life. They are conversation keys. What to say in segment 6? Exact practice. Imagine someone speaks to you slowly. You react. For example, say out loud, someone says, this practice is slow. I respond, yes, and it helps me. Pause. Now, someone asks, is English difficult? I respond, yes, but it's getting easier. Pause. Notice something. You didn't rush. You didn't panic. You reacted naturally. Why reaction practice feels easier than speaking alone? When you react, you don't create ideas from zero. You respond to something real, let's say it. Your brain feels guided. That's why conversations often feel easier than monologues. This segment trains that feeling. Stop trying to be perfect in conversations. Perfection kills conversation. Real conversations are messy, unfinished. Human people pause. People change direction. People say and That's normal. You are allowed to do the same. The thinking out loud skill. When you don't know what to say, don't stop. Say one of these. Let me think. I'm not sure, but what I mean is, these phrases keep your voice active. Silence disappears. A safe 10-minute conversation practice. Try this daily practice. Set a timer for 10 minutes. Ask yourself simple questions and respond out loud. Questions like, do I like this practice? Is English easier now? What still feels difficult? What feels better than before? Rules. Keep answers short. Speak slowly. Use reaction phrases. This builds conversation reflex. Why speed comes naturally. Later, many learners worry. I respond too slowly. That's okay. Speed comes later. First comes comfort, familiarity, confidence. When those are strong, speed appears naturally. Never rush the process. Why comparing yourself is dangerous here? If you compare yourself to native speakers, fluent YouTubers, advanced learners, you will feel small. Instead, compare yourself to how silent you were before, how scared you felt before. That's real progress. What progress feels like in segment 6. Progress now feels like faster reactions, less panic, more willingness to speak. You may still feel nervous. That's normal. Nervous reaction is still reaction. One sentence. You must say today, say this sentence slowly. I don't need perfect English to have conversations. Say it again, because conversation is about connection, not correctness. Why many learners never reach this stage. Many learners stay in books, they stay in apps, they stay in silence. They understand English deeply but never train reaction. You are different. You are training real English, preparing for the final segment. You have now learned to listen calmly, speak gently, connect ideas, express opinions, react naturally. That is a complete speaking foundation. Now, we move to the final segment. What comes next? In segment 7, we will review everything, lock in habits, build long-term confidence, prepare you to continue alone. This is where many learners finally believe I can actually speak English. If you ever felt, I understand English but conversations scare me, this segment was for you. You are not broken. You are learning correctly. Take a breath, relax your shoulders. Segment 7. From practice to real life, becoming a natural English speaker. If you are listening to this right now, stop for just a second. Not to think about English, not to judge your progress, just to notice one thing. You are still here, and that alone means you're no longer the same person who started this series. Let's be honest about what just happened. You didn't suddenly become fluent. You didn't magically speak perfect English. But something much more important happened. English stopped feeling dangerous. And when a language stops feeling dangerous, your voice starts to come out naturally. That is the real victory. Look at the journey you just completed. Let's quickly remember what you built, step by step. In segment 1, you learned to slow everything down. You stopped rushing English. In segment 2, you calmed your brain with slow listening. Fear began to lose control. In segment 3, you activated your voice gently. Speaking no longer felt impossible. In segment 4, you learned to continue instead of stopping. Flow began to appear. In segment 5, English became personal. Your opinions and feelings came out. In segment 6, English became interactive. You reacted instead of freezing. And now, here you are, not fluent, but real. The biggest truth you need to hear now. Here it is. You do not need more English. You need more use of the English you already have. Most learners keep searching for more lessons, more grammar, more vocabulary, but confidence doesn't come from knowing more. Confidence comes from using what you know daily. Why you must not stop. After this segment, many learners feel motivated at the end of a series, then they stop, and silence slowly comes back. Not because they forgot English, but because they stopped using their voice. You don't need long study sessions. You need short, calm, daily speaking. That's it. Your new daily rule. Very simple. From today, follow this rule. Speak English every day, even if it's only for 5 minutes, especially on days when you don't feel confident. Confidence is built by action, not feeling. What natural English really means. Natural English does not mean perfect grammar, fast speaking, native accent. Natural English means you don't panic, you can continue, you can react, you can express yourself. If you can do those things, you're already a speaker. You are allowed to be slow forever. Let me say something clearly. You're allowed to speak slowly forever. Many confident speakers speak slowly. Slow speech sounds calm, confident, thoughtful. Speed is optional. Clarity is not. One habit that will change everything. Here is a habit fluent speakers have. They don't judge every sentence they say. They speak. They move on. You must adopt this habit. Speaking is not an exam. It's a living skill. What to do when you feel stuck again. Yes, it will happen. Some days, words won't come, fear will return, confidence will drop. When that happens, slow down, listen again, speak shorter, continue anyway, never return to silence. Silence is the only real enemy. A sentence you must remember forever. Say this sentence slowly. I'm allowed to speak English imperfectly. Say it again, because this sentence removes fear. Why your accent is not a problem. Your accent is not a mistake. Your accent is proof that you speak more than one language. People don't connect with perfection. They connect with effort and clarity. You don't need permission anymore. At the beginning, English felt like something you needed permission to use. That permission is now yours. You don't need a teacher, an app, a certificate. You need your voice, and you already have it. What comes after After this series, you can repeat it. Use the same slow method with new topics. Practice with real conversations. Speak to yourself daily. The method stays the same, only your confidence grows. The final shift. You're no longer a silent learner. You're a speaker who is still growing. That is a powerful identity change. Protect it, use it. Final words. Let me leave you with this. Fluency is not built by talent. Fluency is built by permission and consistency. You gave yourself permission. Now stay consistent. Speak slowly, speak naturally, speak every day, and never ever go back to silence. If this series helped you even a little, that means it worked. Your voice matters. And now it's finally being heard.